Oh, so that I can
You
see
are.
here as
Yep.
you're going through
So
the
if you-
items.
That's it.
Meeting to order. Thank you guys for all being here. The last time we had this many faces, it was extra credit, so it's nice to see faces. Our board chair, Brian Taylor, is absent today, so as the vice chair, I'm gonna run this, and our student rep, Idette Nolasco Vera, is also not here, and we'll read her report. This meeting will be held in person. The meeting will also be available via Zoom. Information regarding Zoom meeting access is available on our website meetings page, https://www.csidekids.or.us/meetings. Please be aware that availability of in-person meetings may change at any time based on current public health concerns and conditions. Those wishing to speak before the board will have the opportunity to do so during the designated public comment times as noted on the agenda. Speakers may offer objective criticism of school operations and programs. However, the law prohibits the board from hearing complaints regarding and personally identifiable district staff members. The board also asks anyone wishing to communicate a complaint of this nature to follow the process in board policy KL, public complaints. Persons having requests for special needs and accommodations should contact the school district office at 2600 Spruce Drive, Suite 100, Seaside, Oregon 97138. 503-738-5591 is the number there. Speech hearing impaired individuals may reach the Oregon Relay Service by dialing 711. Requests should be made 48 hours in advance of the event. And would you guys please stand and join me in the pledge of allegiance? The flag's back there. Great. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Agenda review. Does everyone have a chance to look at the agenda?
Move to approve the agenda is presented.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded to approve the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry, who was the second?
Motion carries. On to reports, our spotlights.
All right, board members, thank you for being here. Thanks to everybody for being here. This is our first run using Board Book. So I'm confident. Thank you so much to Leslie Garvin for all the work setting this up. And this is our trial run. So January is School Board Appreciation Month. So this is an opportunity to honor all of you for your service. So we thank you. Every day I'm appreciative of you as board members that you all put what's best for students first. And so thank you so much for your volunteering and your hard work for Seaside School District.
Of course.
Thank you.
At this point, I'd like to call Mr. Cat up. He has made a video. So come on up, Mr. Cat.
Thank you, Mrs. Kinrod. My name is Jeremy Catt. I'm the assistant principal at Pacific Ridge Elementary School. I want to let you guys know in advance that we have a student council at Pacific Ridge of fifth grade students, and they did an incredible job at building you guys the most awesome school appreciation board video. Had all the transitions, all the bells and whistles, all the music, and then we couldn't send it. So that means that I got to build one at 2 o'clock this afternoon. So bear with me. The content is still good. But it wasn't as good as theirs. So just a couple of fun things for you guys. We asked some elementary school kids what they think the school board does. And there's some interesting answers. And we also asked some kiddos who their favorite teachers were at Pacific Ridge and what they most appreciated about Pacific Ridge. So Kyle, go ahead and show it. Thanks. Great group of kids.
Thank you, Mr. Cat.
Thank
I'm gonna try
you.
doing it one way, and if it doesn't work that way, I'm gonna do it a different way. Everyone on Zoom involved.
Here we go.
Tell her to say no.
Did you have to?
Just a quick video, guys, of appreciation. We believe that our school board is the best in the state, and I know you guys are student-centered and teacher-centered, and we're just so thankful for everything that you do. And when you guys have an opportunity, come down to Pacific Ridge. We have a lot to share and a lot to celebrate, and it's a lot of that's because of you guys. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you. Okay, so thank you for that video. That was very cute. Student business would be Idette, and she's not here, so we'll read her report.
Okay, Idette says that there are several things going on here at the high school. The coin flash started Friday and it ends February 14th. The winner announced the 18th. Winner announced the 18th, $390 from Miracle Minute last Friday. Next Friday, next on February 4th in Astoria, not sure, she didn't finish that sentence, so I'll go on. Opening applications for ASB presidency has started, and they hope to have them picked out by third term. The Multicultural Club raffle baskets raised $400 for end of the year scholarship, and that's Idette's report.
Awesome, thank you, Idette. And superintendent report.
Yes. So Kyle, if you can get that up and going, there have been some amazing events that I was able to attend last week. So I wanted to share a little bit about those two events. We'll get that up. All right, next slide. I had the opportunity to attend the Fentanyl Awareness Night last Tuesday at the Times Theater. As you can see from the numbers here, we had so many people come out. We had community members, parents, students, a lot of staff, and it was a very meaningful night. The organizer of this said they were in Beaverton a couple weeks ago and they didn't even have half the number of people that we have. So it says a lot about our community. I really want to thank Jane Foreman and Natalie Dyroth and Wendy Crozier for all their work organizing this event. This was an event that the school district worked in collaboration with our county health department on this. And you can see some information about the number of Narcan kits that were given out. So between the video, which is linked there, that anybody who didn't attend can watch, and the panel discussion, it was wonderful. So thank you again to everybody who was involved in that. Next slide. Last Thursday, I also had an opportunity to attend the Natural Resources event and auction. That is a county-wide event that's organized through Hampton Lumber, and so many folks, over 500 people were there. This picture you see here is of our natural resources students, and John Meyer, of course, who has helped with the Ridgeline Trail. Our students presented not only for people walking through, but for part of the video, and I was just really impressed about their passion. So if you ever have, that's an event that happens every year. So if you ever have a chance to go, you'll really enjoy it. And they served crab. It was really good. Okay, last slide. I have had a couple parents reach out to me with concerns about this book, and so been able to share with them last week that we do have school board policies. If anybody would like to challenge any of our instructional materials, I've put our two board policies up there. The second one is the request form. I pulled just one statement out of there. In the pink papers that you have here are those policies. And in order to challenge anybody would need to complete this form and send it to me. So that's my report for you today.
Thank you. Business and fiscal services report, Tony.
Hello, everybody. So there was a couple questions on the financial reports, the differences between the two. So I did do some color coding this time. So if you look at each of them, the lines in yellow correspond with between the two. There's orange and green and blue. So one is just by object code, which is basically what we're buying or what we're paying for. And the function code is basically departments, things like construction, support services, things like that. So that's the differences between the two. And there are actuals on the second line, on the second column. So they're not going to balance because it's not a balance sheet. It's a revenue and expenditures. So I just wanted to clear that up a little bit. We did have a data breach for with a third-party retirement system. It's called Caruth Compliance Consulting, and they are a firm that provides third-party retirement services for many Oregon districts, including Portland Public and
Go
Beaverton.
talk to Papa Bear.
And
Oh, Chubbs, do you want to get out of the car too?
Can you mute yourself, please? Thank you.
so the organization handles our 403B savings. That is not PERS. It has nothing to do with PERS. And Caruth, we were informed by Caruth that on December 21st, there was suspicious activity. Investigation was determined between December 19th and 26th of 2024. Sensitive client information was acquired without their authorization, and we were notified that investigation concluded on January 13th. So Friday, Susan sent out emails regarding this breach. We've created a webpage with frequently asked questions, and that's on the HR page. You can click on that link. Caruth Compliance Consulting also has information on their website. And then you can call them during normal business hours, and there's an 877 number that's included in that webpage.
And on our webpage, it shares information about how individual people can sign up for some extra protections.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony.
Administrative reports. Jeremy, would you like to start since I can see you? And you made such a great video.
I'll go.
Yeah.
You guys can just pick your order.
Yeah,
But
if
can you
you
come
guys
up
will
here
come up,
so
that'd
we
be great.
can all see you?
Mhm.
He did the video. I can do that. Lots of fun things happening at Pacific Ridge. Fifth grade has Star Base happening and they are doing OBOB. It was able to purchase all those OBOB books for their reading and we're competing against each other. Fourth grade has the If I Were Mayor contest. So the mayors at Seaside, Cannon Beach, Gerhart will be coming to Pacific Ridge to talk about what it's like to be a mayor. And then students will create a poster of if they were mayor, what would they do? So that's really fun to see. Third grade starting swim lessons this week. Every student in third grade at Pacific Ridge gets 5 days of swim lessons. You know how important it is to make sure all of our students can swim, and our PTO is really passionate about that, and they pay for those with in collaboration with Parks and Rec. So those are getting started. And second grade's got a maritime museum field trip coming up, and kinder first and second, actually preschool, kinder first and second have the Sitka art lessons for in January. January. The year is just flying by. Starting this week. And of course, our famous discount card sales are happening. I see a lot of customers for discount cards. So if you see that, people puffin selling a $10 discount card, it really helps our school out. So buy one from them. I just bought one from a neighbor before I left for her tonight. So they're really eager to earn those prices. That's everything.
Thank you.
Thank you, Julie.
Jeff? She didn't want to.
Okay, good evening. I know Susan mentioned this, already, but again, I wanna, make sure that, Natalie Dyroff and Jane Foreman, get the credit that's due for the new drug talk that they work in partnership with the county health department on holding. It was, in the 13 years I've been in this district, this single largest attended, community event that we have hosted, and so I think really critical in terms of, educating parents and folks in our community about the landscape has changed, right? Of what our students are facing. And thanks to the Times Theater, to Helping Hands, to CVH, it was all hands on deck, and it was incredible to have 300+ people there to learn. Also, I think there's some important thank yous to go out. Josiah Glazer, this weekend had our OMEA All-State Honor Band, and was in Eugene with our students to see them compete and to go through some professional development. Chad Klaus and I had the opportunity to time at the swimming event. We have 2 new coaches this year. Coach Nat and Coach Sam are doing a fantastic job. It's my first time having an opportunity to first time I took advantage of the opportunity to time at the pool, and wore the wrong shoes, wear flip-flops if you have the chance to do that. The racket upstairs is our one acts. Our final night will be tomorrow night, where we have all age groups performing in our one acts. So that kicks off at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. If you're looking for an evening out to come support some students. Later on tonight, you will see a video that really shows some of the great work that our students and our 9th grade success teams are doing. And so really want to recognize Kaylee Anderson and Hillary Milan, who are our student interns with our 9th grade success team. They're doing a fantastic job. A couple other things. I don't know if anybody's here Friday night. Lots of class turned out pretty good, and so to take 2 from Astoria on the same night, it's always a pretty fantastic evening. Last Friday, we held conferences in person as an option for the first time to see if we could bolster some attendance in those. I don't know that we saw the return that we'd hoped for, so those will continually be under evaluation on how we maximize the opportunity to meet with folks and meet with parents and to meet with families to help support students. And then lastly, a little update on our CTE programs. You'll notice that the second shed is being built. The first one has been relocated to Broadway Field, and we anticipate Inland Electric hooking that up later this week or early next week. So that's a significant project that was accomplished by our construction program. We have the Northwest Regional ESD coming in the first week of February to highlight our culinary arts program, and we'll be producing a video for the region. And lastly, our business and marketing program has entered into a business partnership with our athletic program and is doing a ton of screen printing work. And so if you see middle school students running around with athletic shirts, now they're super cool, kind of like a Letterman's jacket for our middle school students, with the different sports they play on their sleeves. I partnered for the Holiday Classic and did all the screen printing there. So it's been a really lucrative and a really great learning experience for both our students and our athletic department to try to work collaboratively in-house. So
That's very cool. Thank you. Wendy, I see you back there.
Yeah, I'm all, sorry. I don't have a lot to add because that was a lot of things that I had, and you're gonna hear from me in a little bit for middle school data overview, but, yeah, we're in the full swing of things. It's kind of crazy to think about end of year stuff, but we're starting to talk about that. We just finished our winter benchmarking, almost finished. We're starting to think about state testing already, which is wild to think that we're halfway through the year. We do have Winter Week coming up, Valentine's Week. So our leadership team is busy planning a really fun week for our middle school students. We're running back into Sick to Art Week next week, which is a great opportunity for our students to experience a second dose of art for everybody. They're going to be doing printmaking next week, so we're excited about that.
I am gonna just have Carlina stand up and talk about a cool Latinx connection night that we have coming up. And then also just to highlight and put on your calendars, our second multicultural night will be April 30th this year. And that will be hopefully a really fun event again.
So the only thing to add to that is, I started some Latinx meetings for our Latino families here at Seaside, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. We will have our next meeting on February 11th at 6 p.m. We're looking for a location right now. We're hoping to be down at the Parks and Rec building and have Key Club and Builders Club support us with childcare on that. We'll have a meeting in March. We'll have one right before our multicultural night on April 30th here at the school, and then we'll have one more in May. Just to make sure that our Latino families have a voice and we find out what their concerns are, what they want to know more about, and support them and their students in any way that we can.
Awesome, thank you, Carlina. Is that what we had minutes?
Probably just Kate, and I think Kate's.
Kate, oh, there you are.
Hi.
You're behind the pole.
We have the opportunity to send 15 staff members to a 2-day workshop on the new art and science of teaching in February. We're very excited about that. Actually, it's March, but it's at the end of February. This coincides with the instructional framework that we've been working on and the effective teaching strategies in every classroom. So we're very excited about that. As Wendy said, even though it feels like we're in the thick of winter, we're starting to think ahead. And in my office, we're starting to actually be thinking about next year. So I'm doing a lot of planning already for things that will be coming up next year, as well as kind of deep in ODE reporting. That's what happens downstairs. Thanks, Jake.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to Cannon Beach Academy report. Mary Ellen. Come on down.
Well,
Hey.
we had a very busy break. We had a bunch of school improvement things happen. We've got a brand new kitchen with a working oven, which is first time that the school has had an oven. So we're very excited. And then we are also getting a rolling cart so that we can have cooking demonstrations in our cafeteria space. And we've got Ocean Beauty coming next Monday to do a fish demonstration and then to cook up some fish for the kids. And so that's going to be very fun and exciting. And then new lighting in our building. So that has been a couple years in the works, and we're very excited to have brand new lights. So that's very cool. And then I included some pictures of our garden class. The kids made guacamole a few weeks ago, and then our after school clubs are up and going strong again after break. And we've had gorgeous weather for our eco club and our running club, and we will take it. So lots of trips to the beach, which is why we're so close. So we gotta utilize the beach while we can. So that's what I have for you. Oh, and our enrollment went up as of last week. So we're at 39 students now.
Great.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you.
You always have such nice pictures. Okay, union report.
Jane's here. Jane is here.
Jane.
Yeah.
Coming all the way up here. So really, we're all just adjusting to like the new staffing kind of happening right now and stepping in where we're needed. We have an NEA meeting, an opportunity for everybody to figure out more benefits in conjunction with Astoria coming up this month. And other than that, we're just kind of trucking along. We made it through conferences for secondary and, just kind of holding steady down at the grade school. So we appreciate the board, but we don't really have anything. We're just gonna keep it quiet.
Makes sense.
I didn't see Megan, but I wonder if she's online.
I'm here.
Hi, Megan.
Hi, good evening. We don't have a whole lot either with OSEA. We are just putting our teams together for negotiations. That's kind of our big stuff right now, taking up most of our time. Staff are back into the swing of things after the holidays, and that's really kind of all we have going on. It's really been kind of, I hate to say it, a quiet month or so. So not a whole lot, but that's it.
Thanks,
Thank
Megan.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, Wendy, come on back up for the Seaside Middle School Academic Progress Report. Or Carly.
There's three of us.
Oh,
talking.
Oh, and
Nice.
Shelby. Rude.
So board, this is our second report, as you know from a couple months ago, Julie Wasnick spoke and shared information about the elementary, and so welcome middle school team.
This is just our general demographics that you're seeing right here. You can see how many students we have in sixth, seventh, and eighth grade, with sixth grade being our largest class, followed by eighth grade. We have currently 356 students in the middle school. When looking at race, if you go down to the bottom, you see white is 58% of our population. And we are up to 35% Latino students now at the middle school. So that's really increased. That's our biggest group that has been increasing. And then you can see the other races going up. As far as programs, you can see we have 52 students in special education, 51 students who are English language development learners. McKinney-Vento would be students who are unstable in the housing area. So we have 22 kids there, 504 is 20, and then our other groups.
What's 504?
504 is for students who might have a disability such as depression or ADHD and need accommodations from their teachers. Okay, we can go to the next slide. This is what we're going to be covering tonight is attendance, SEL, academics, and ninth grade success. Next slide. So attendance, you can see that our goal is for 95% of our students to be attending school every day. Our attendance matters. Next slide.
And where are we at now? Your goal's 95.
I'm going to show you right here.
So first
The
question.
next slide will show you where we're at. This one kind of breaks down sixth, seventh, and eighth grade. So the top two bands are the green and the yellow are good bands in that's students who are attending 90% of the days here. So that we could see that sixth grade, we have 36% and 27%. So we have that percentage of kids who are attending at least 90% of their school day. And then the bottom two tiers, the average of that is 46%. Those are students who are chronically absent. So we know this is an issue. So you could see that 46% of our students are chronically absent, and we're going to be looking at how to address that. And on the next slide, you'll see what we're at. So we are at 88%, where that goal was 95%. So we are at 88%. So the next slide will show you what are some of the things that we plan on doing to address this.
Let me go back to the last slide.
Sure.
I'm gonna jump the gun. I don't want to do it, but I'm just noticing sixth, seventh grade. It seems to get worse every year.
It
that-
does. So
that
our
keep
eighth
going into
graders-
High school to just finish
Uh-huh.
9th, 10th, 11th. I mean, is that, where does it?
Does that
ever
trend
level off, or
continue,
does that
9th,
trend-
10th, 11th, and 12th? I'm not 100% sure. Does it?
It's similar.
Similar.
Yeah, and I think,
So it plateaus somewhere and that may
Yeah.
be the plateau?
I think, I mean, if you look at the attendance data for high school and the attendance data for middle school, they're similar. Middle school has the lowest attendance overall. And part of that is because middle school students really still can't control whether they come or they don't, right? They can't transport themselves, those pieces. But there's a lot of similarity as you go through high school. And I think one thing to note is, COVID really took a toll on attendance across the state. We're not alone in it. So it's something that we really have to kind of address and bring back up the importance of coming to school.
Yeah, there's a
every day.
lot there to
That
unpack,
value.
I'm sure.
There's
This
a
is just
ton
a
to
quick
unpack,
question,
yeah.
like the trend line is clear, so I'm wondering
Yeah.
where it stops and plateaus then improves. But
It-
it just doesn't.
It doesn't really.
Is there a sense of why? Why it's
Um,
happening?
You know, I mean, there's a lot of different theories. There's a lot of different theories, coming out of COVID. You know, there's theories around, you know, just kind of the importance of coming to in-person school. There also is a pretty significant increase in mental health. Anxiety and of those pieces have an effect. So there's a lot of contributing factors. Also, you know, Oregon's attendance laws changed. And so that probably has some impact in it as well. So I think there's a lot of things to unpack. And if you look at the data across the state, we're not unusual.
Do we have pre-COVID data that? to
We do have
compare?
pre-COVID data. It's slightly better. It's not significantly better.
Yeah, so we have some improvement here, 7%. In the next slide, we'll go over some of the ideas that we've come up with. We have a SIT meeting, our student intervention team meeting that gets together, and these are some of the ideas that we came up with to work on, which is on the next slide. So establishing accountability buddies, during homeroom and tutorial, having the teachers confer with their students, find out what's going on. Lunchtime celebrations and treats. Shelby runs all of that for Seaside Middle School and has that lined up. She's done that and will continue to increase that for the remainder of the year. We have our SART team, our student attendance response team within our SIT team, our student intervention team, which are the two administrators, the two counselors, Ms. Gagnon, our TOSA. We also have a Corporal Gagnon that joins us for that as well. And CH. Thank you. Rachel Pinchy, who's a therapist here and has an office here at our site that provides those services as well. We've had letters home and those have just been revamped as well. We're going to be doing one-on-one meetings because we feel that the kids really need that one-on-one with each one of us, that personal time, finding out what's going on. And that's where we really find out what's going on with the child, and then celebrating growth is really important. So those are some of the things around attendance. So definitely some work to do.
What is the accountability buddies?
We talked about that.
Do you want me to talk a little bit about
Yes.
that? Yeah, so there is a district out of Southern Oregon that has had some really strong success in increasing their attendance rates at middle school. And so what accountability buddies are actual middle school students who buddy up and they're accountable to each other, right? So if one of them's not here, they're messaging, contacting that student. Why aren't you here? We miss you. We also would like to do that with teachers. So for our students who are chronically absent, that intentional reach out, hey, I miss you. Like, I hope you're here tomorrow, right? Just that kind of inviting back and developing that relationship.
What's the
Social
students?
emotional learning.
Oh, sorry.
Any more attendance questions?
Yeah, can you go back to the last slide? What is the student attendance response teams like? Is that just someone who reaches out to the family or?
That's within our SIT team, so student intervention team, which is the group of us. What we're going to be, we look at, we meet once a week. And then any students that we're concerned about, we list and then we talk about them and then talk about what supports we're going to put in place for the student. So what we're going to do is every other week, we're going to be looking at our chronic absentee students. We're going to be listing those students and what supports can we put in for individual students in that. Okay, and then Shelby's going to take it away with social emotional learning.
Hello, I'm Shelby Gagnon. I am the middle school student success TOSA or teacher on special assignment. And the fun thing that I get to say is I get to create systems of support and celebration for students. And part of my job has been to work with that SIT team that Carlina mentioned to roll out the Oregon Transformative Social Emotional Learning Standards. But I first wanted to just kind of talk about what that even means because it's an acronym, SEL, and we hear social emotional learning all the time. But just a little brief history and what it is. So in 2013, the State Board of Education decided we needed to have specific standards around social emotional learning. The skills of I like to think about it as how to human. We know that those things are important for kids and for adults And it was time, Oregon decided that we put standards to them, just like we have for any other content area. So when we talk about SEL, that's what we're talking about. There are 5 pillars that are very small on this screen, but 5 pillars that really created these standards around conditions for learning. So what does the classroom need to feel like and sound like and look like for students to be successful? Guiding principles around cultural responsiveness, community building, things like that. Focus on adult health and wellness, right? We can't take care of the kids if we're not taking care of ourselves. And then 5 really specific standards around self-awareness and agency, management, sense of belonging, problem-solving skills and collaboration, and identity. Next slide, please. In our district strategic plan, our goal was by June 2024, all students will develop the social emotional skills to be positive community members. Under that, our goals were 100% of students will meet positive behavior targets. All students and staff report that they experience positive school culture, and all students will attend 95% of school days. I think, and I would argue that students having access to these skills and building these skills are just immediately and directly responding to those goals. Next slide. So how are we doing that at SMS? Before the statute that made these standards law, we knew that it was important. So in that era, we were doing daily announcements during an additional 10 minutes at the beginning of first period. Number 2, during the 22 and 23 school year, we knew that it was going well, but we could do more. So we did 20 additional minutes at the beginning of first period with community building activities that were specific. Implemented weekly grade checks. I came to be in this role, thank you, and a broader real world experiences or more intentional of what was already happening. When we knew that the standards were coming, we had all of those things in place, and then we worked as a SIT team, but also with teachers and administrators and students and really a collective team on choosing Oregon's Wayfinder SEL curriculum, which I'll talk about in a little bit. And then as a SIT team, our 2 awesome counselors, Jane and Natalie, that were already mentioned because they're rock stars, and I got to sit down and really guide or create guided lesson maps for all staff. So we get to do that kind of heavy lifting of planning, and then they get to make the magic happen in classrooms. And then this year, we now have a 30-minute dedicated homeroom, its own class. We have weekly counselor-led and TOSA-led meetings. We have twice weekly grade level Wayfinder lessons. So really working on those specific standards and SEL skills for students, right? Building them just as we would in any other classroom. And then we do a fun Friday, whole school live Google Meets to build culture and community where we get to celebrate birthdays and do raffles and all sorts of fun games and things like that. Next slide. Wayfinder is the curriculum that we use to guide our homeroom lessons, and some teachers even use it in other classes too, but it's an Oregon-based SEL curriculum with online and paper pencil availability, which we really liked. It wasn't just sitting kids in front of computers. Originally created for high school students, a lot of social emotional curriculum is geared towards the elementary students, which is great. But then when we get into middle school and high school, it feels cheesy and not super relevant, and Wayfinder flipped that. It focuses on 6 main skills that encompass all SEL standards and really crosswalk with our Oregon standards. And you will see them on the next slide. So the core 6 skills that Wayfinder really encompasses, and like I said, match with the Oregon state standards. This is our focus for Wayfinder, and you'll see in a little bit how that's reflected in student data, but we're looking at self-awareness, adaptability, empathy, collaboration, agency, and purpose. So really skills that we hope that we're instilling in our students and taking intentional time to build those skills, just as us adults also have to build these skills as we become more human. The curriculum I won't speak too much for elementary and high school, but we have this curriculum K-12. So just a sixth grade, seventh grade, eighth grade snapshot, you can see that we're still utilizing those 6 core skills, but they're differentiated just a little bit. So sixth grade is building connections through self-awareness and community. Seventh grade, understanding, valuing, and accepting ourselves. Eighth grade, understanding, valuing, and accepting each other. Little nuances between each grade. Apart from just a curriculum, we also just have those daily moments and skills that we get when we're in community with others. In our homeroom class specifically, we have those weekly grade checks with follow-up procedures. So students are taking agency for their own grades and their success and their learnings. We do weekly goal setting and trimester goal setting, right? Short-term, long-term. We organize backpacks and binders, y'all, because I feel like at some point everyone in this room has seen a middle school backpack. We do community building activities. We work on portfolio projects for the end of the year, conferences for students. We just have those real teacher, student moments in the classroom. We are choosing connected real world content, and we discuss and participate in activities around local, national, and global issues and topics. In our strategic plan, one of our goals, all students K-12 will participate in multiple real world learning experiences. And I think that's just such a great bridge for SEL learning, right? Learning to be human, and we're doing it out in the real world. So just through my role, this is a list of things that I've gotten to help create with the support of our awesome admin and counselors and staff. So we have our art weeks, service learning at all grade levels, a robotics program, forestry day. Eighth graders this year are going to Junior Achievement Finance Park, which is like a financial simulation where they get to pretend to be a grown-up for a day, and it's going to be great. But working on real life financial literacy, musical theater, OMSI, bowling trips, guest speakers, guest artists, authors, tons of student creative clubs, and systems of celebration. So what does all that mean? What is the data telling us? This is from our fall 2024 student survey. And this is about students and where they feel on our 5 standards of learning. Reported that 61% of the students who completed that survey in the fall reported strength in SEL topics.
How do you measure it just by their own opinion, or is there some other objective measure?
Sure. So the survey just has a variety of questions that are connected to each area. And this one really is like, how do you feel about this?
Okay. Yeah.
On that same survey, it asks about just personal well-being. So how are you feeling? And this particular one really stood out to me. 208 students reported 4.3 or above on supportive relationships on their most recent well-being survey throughout this year. So not only are we working on building those skills of how do you have and maintain healthy relationships with others, but just the importance of students being able to have positive, healthy, consistent relationships at school, I think is really important and pertinent. And then behavior. So this, I think, just says so much. Again, similar to the middle school backpack at middle school, we're busy all the time. There are lots of big feelings and lots of students doing lots of different things. But I think we get a bad rap, y'all. And according to this data, only 6 students out of our 350 something, I think 352, have had incidents on more than 5% of school days this year. And I think that's a direct connection to helping students learn those skills of how to regulate themselves, how to ask for help, how to connect with others, how to problem solve, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
In Wayfinder, we take weekly formative waypoints assessment. They assess themselves. Again, it's that, how do you feel about this? What would you do in this situation? They assess themselves, and this is our trend line. So we're growing. Purpose went down a little bit this week, but it's just a really nice, like, holistic snapshot of growth in those skills.
And this is the middle school specific?
Yes. Okay. Yep. And then this is our summative. So the weekly are just 6 questions, kind of just a little mini check-in. Summative is 32 to 36 questions. And you can see we have a little bit of growth in each area, but we also started pretty high, which is great. But I'm excited to see the end of the year results as well. And then we also have a cute little video.
Something that's going well is how we have a lot of like choices for field trips, and we have cool things like Sika Art where we can go in different things and pick like what we want to do and how we can do it.
What I think is going well is when we have speakers like Aaron Jones come in and all of our activities for like fall carnival and field day, and we have spirit weeks when we do that.
Something that is going well in Seaside Middle School is that we have a lot of learning, a lot of activities to do all around, and we have cool things like clubs.
The fall carnival is going well. We just need more events at school because kids can't go travel to like other places. So I think that school events should be at school.
It makes me feeling safe by knowing there's a counselor, teacher, or staff nearby, and it makes me feel like I'm able to go to someone when I'm not feeling well, or like if I'm feeling like down, I always have a teacher or staff to go to, and that makes me feel safe in school. And I also like all of the opportunities that students have, such as like clubs like crochet club, like soccer, drama, face space, and all those things are so amazing in the school. I'm glad that kids have so many opportunities because no one can feel excluded.
And we can do like a Wellness Wednesday, like for students instead of just for staff, where we have like more activity afternoons, like once a week or like once a month.
And why do you think we should do that?
For more student involvement and like student health, because we're in class a lot of the time and don't get a lot of time besides like lunch to hang out with our friends. So it gives us more time to do that.
And something that I think that we can work on is definitely like more like physical activities, like we could go on hikes. We can have like PE that can, like we have different PEs. So like a game PE or a football or basketball PE or a hike PE.
And something that we can improve upon is that we should have cool activities every week, so we get a little excited for the cool activities in the weeks.
What kinds of activities do you have in mind, or are you hoping for?
Some activities is like physical activities that kind of involve playing around and running.
Yeah. Do you wish that we had like an outside structure or something, like kind of like at the elementary school, just to move our bodies more? Is that what I'm hearing? Awesome.
Well, I don't want to say that like the student concern form does not work, but I've definitely filled it in before. I've gotten a response, but I feel like I still see people getting bullied, and I try to step in as much as I can by telling them to stop, or like telling them that it's not nice, but like it's definite. We should promote it more, the student concern form.
The students all knew that you all were going to see it, and they were very nervous and very excited, so there was a lot of.
Very great.
Yes. I think just one more. So where do we go from here in regards to SEL? We've got lots of things to celebrate, lots of growth. But of course, we always have those things that we can focus on. So things that we're really looking forward to the rest of the year and in the future: continued adult buy-in for implementation, continued assessment of bigger needs, those typical life skills, but also the current demands, what are hot topics or what's happening right now, more student voice and choice and just everything, more opportunities for student movement and more promotion and clarity on that student concern form and follow up. Yeah, you too.
Thank you guys. Very well done. Appreciate it.
All right, we're gonna talk a little bit about academics, and we're gonna go a little bit rapid fire because I know we've been a while and there's a lot of people here for other purposes, but I'm gonna talk a little bit about literacy and math data. And so this is just our panorama snapshot as of right now. So that first column is just year-to-date classwork, so ELA classwork and then mathematic coursework. The second column is SBAC scores, and then the third is STAR Mathematic. The thing that I want you to look at there is the green in both ELA and math. Last time at this year, we were at 37% and 40%, and we're at 50% in both of those categories right now. So some pretty significant growth. And also that bottom category, if you look at the red, right, last time at this year, we were at 14% and 15%, and now we're at 10% and 6%. So that being said, we are moving in the right direction. It might not be the prettiest data, but it is going in the right direction. And so that's what matters and what we're excited about. We can go to the next slide. So what are we doing at SMS to kind of address our data and to provide extra supports for students? So we do tutorial, which is an extra academic block that every student in middle school gets. It's differentiated. It's 30 minutes, 32 minutes to be exact. We also put in a math foundations class that helps support students with lagging math skills. And we also are doing acceleration. So accelerated classes in both language arts and math. And then also acceleration up into high school credit bearing math classes as well. You can skip that one. So what does this look like over time? So when we came back, 21-22, full in-person, we added literacy block. We then added math block in addition to that. We had both literacy and math block last year, 2 30-minute periods. This year we changed to tutorial so that we could have homeroom for social emotional learning. And we have tutorial, still 32 minutes, 5 days a week, 2 days are math, 2 days are literacy, and 1 day is what I need. So if they need to continue to work on literacy or math, they can, or they could work on skills in content classes. These are the programs that we use. We use IXL Math, Achieve 3000. We also have actually four of our tutorials that are for extensions. So they're a little bit more project-based. 3 of them are with our science teachers focusing on math and integration, and 1 is in a language arts class. This is just some data from IXL. So we've done 314,052 questions so far this year. We've mastered 5,848 skills. So you can see we're practicing math on IXL a lot, and kids are invested in it and seeing a difference for themselves. This just kind of outlines our STAR scores student growth percentile. So when you look at spring of 2021, of that 21 up till now, which was the fall, you can see we've had significant growth. And we're above what we would expect for the 50, like kind of that 50% growth. This is a longitudinal data. I do have arrows there just kind of to highlight again, to look at that red area and then the green area. And you can see that our red is shrinking and our green is growing over time. And so in all 3 grade levels. And so that's significant. It's still not exactly where we want to be, but we're moving in the right direction.
Where would you like to be?
Well, we would like to have everybody at benchmark.
Okay, but we're halfway there, right? 50%.
Getting there, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I mean,
it's-
like, that's not realistic
I was
that we're
gonna
gonna
say,
have
that's not
100%
But
of
what would
students.
you really like to get to? 60% this year? I mean, we're half our students now, is it 60 or 70 or what?
You know, I mean, I feel like I would like to see more like 65 to 70% in the blue and the green.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Is the number of students on the right-hand side, is that the number that are meeting the benchmark?
Yeah, on the left. So the far column is total number of students.
Oh.
And so then if you see like 55, 57%,
I got you.
does that make sense?
Mhm.
Or like where that arrow is 46, 52%,
And the PR means?
percentile range. You can go. This is just our tutorial literacy data from Achieve 3000. So if you look at that first chart, the gray is expected Lexile growth, and their Lexile is measured every month. And so we're well above that at all grade levels. We aren't quite to the median score being at grades 6 through 8, but we're getting close. We're getting real close there. So Achieve 3000 has been a really successful program for us at, self-paced differentiated level for every student.
Who sets that, bar, the grade bar? The expected,
The expected growth, so that's based on a few different levels. So there are expected Lexile levels for every grade level. And we want to see at least 1 year of growth in a Lexile. So Achieve 3000 doesn't use exactly the same metric as STAR. They use a slightly different metric. But that would be, I mean, Achieve 3000 sets that metric, but it's based on what we would expect to see for Lexile levels at grade level.
like through the national standard?
National standards, yeah. And then again, STAR scores, you can kind of see that growth over time. So we had a big spike from spring 22-23 to fall 24-25.
And what do you credit? What do you credit for that?
You know, I think it is partially due to just like time and consistency in school. I think integration across content areas. I also think the more we read, the more time we spend with print, the better we get. And so I think those are all contributing factors. I think one thing that is really beneficial is all of our teachers are teaching math. All of our teachers are teaching literacy in that tutorial block. And that makes a pretty significant difference.
I think you're right. I mean, that's if you look at a chart, that's like something really changed, and whatever is going on, we want to keep it, or I don't know, just that's a massive improvement. So
Yeah.
whatever had happened, let's keep it going.
Yeah.
Well, with the low attendance rates low attendance rates with a high, that's, something's going on. That's really positive.
Yeah, I mean, and if you look at scores straight across, right? Like attendance isn't a direct correlation all the time. It can be a direct correlation with grades more than it is these kinds of scores. Yeah. And again, just longitudinal data for ELA here. Again, we're moving in the right direction, right? Our red numbers are shrinking, our green numbers are going up. So that's all good news. And I think that, it really is a testament when you look at the 6th grade there to what they're doing in the elementary school. One other program that I just wanted to highlight was Math Foundation. So, one of our goals in middle school is 9th grade success, and then ultimately high school graduation. Math is a barrier for a lot of students. And so we implemented Math Foundations 2 years ago fully, partially about 3 years ago. And so this is just kind of an explanation of the why behind it. Go to the next slide. And then these are just some of the reasons: development, success, and equity. Math can be a gatekeeper for students to go into advanced coursework, and we want to minimize that as much as we can. Next slide. We have a unique situation in our foundations class. We have our Math Foundations teacher co-teaching with one of our special education teachers, and that's proved to be really highly successful. And that's just some of the data of what that looks like in that classroom. I put this up here. I think this is significant and really shows kind of why we're having that growth. So this is Karen Baller is our Math Foundations teacher. Kate Manship is our special education teacher. If you look at that growth median, which is the SGP, we want it to be at 40% or above. And you can see that all of her classes are high achievement. So kids are growing at a high rate. They still are low achievement because their scores are lower than benchmark, but that's pretty significant. And then if you look at that down there, that if they continue to grow at that rate, they'll be at benchmark within 2 years. So kids who are at a kindergarten level, 1st grade level in math are growing significantly. And so hopefully our goal is to have everybody algebra ready by 9th grade. Yep. Acceleration. So this is just kind of a picture. We have to look at every student. We want every student to experience 1 year of growth. So this is just kind of some of the statistics. We currently have 15 students in high school math classes. 4 of those students are 7th graders who are earning credit. We have 78 students in accelerated language arts classes, 65 students in accelerated math, and 85 students in integrated tutorial extension classes. So where do we go from here? You know, I kind of highlighted some areas of celebration. You know, consistent positive growth is uplifting. Students like it. Really focusing in on student goal setting. I think celebrating growth is always important, and then math foundations has really been a highlight for us. Areas for growth, one thing that we would like to do, because we have a good problem, right? We have a lot of kids who are going to be ready for algebra. We don't have enough space in our high school classes. So being able to offer algebra at middle school for credit is something that we're hopeful for and looking into to see if we can create a pathway for students in middle school so that they don't have a weird schedule, our bell schedules don't match, you know, some of those things. Another thing that we would like to see, we have differentiation in our tutorial, but we don't have intervention. So having teacher-led intervention with an interventionist would be awesome. And then just extension opportunities for all students. I think that that's important, not just for our students who are excelling, but for our students for all students, it's really important. And then continuing to focus on cross-content integration. Another thing that would be really awesome that I'm working with the high school counselors on is the peer tutoring partnership with high school and maybe creating that in with our cadet teaching program.
The cross-content integration is what you were saying is using different subjects and different mixing the subjects.
Yeah, exactly. So like if they're working on finance in Mr. Tobias's class in social studies, they might also be working on budgeting and doing a project in math. They might then read a book or do a writing project around it in language arts, so that there's just more integration across. Yep. Lastly, I just wanted to talk about ninth grade success. I'm not going to spend much time here. It's really more high school, but I am proud of this. This is a team that I helped to lead. We increased by 8% last year for On Track. And I think that that is directly correlated to what we're doing in middle school with foundations and tutorial and all of the things. And so that's really exciting to see that trajectory of having students on track to graduate in ninth grade. Then just some areas of growth and focus. These are just things that we're continually working on. We know that teacher action leads to student achievement, and so we're going to continue to work in those areas and collaborate, support both of our students and teachers. And yeah, thank you for your time.
Awesome. Thanks. Thanks, you guys. Now we're gonna go into public comment. The meeting will now be open to receive public comment. We value the time and initiative members of the public take to share their thoughts with the board. The board's role during public comment is not to immediately respond, but to listen. If follow-up is necessary, we'll direct our superintendent to do so. Remember that we're all role models for our students. Please share your thoughts respectfully. Should any public comment include complaints regarding personally identifiable staff member, the board chair will direct the speaker to proper administrative process found in board policy KL. Public complaints, speakers will have 3 minutes to express their thoughts. We're gonna limit this to 30 minutes, and if it goes over that, we'll assess. Everybody gets 3 minutes. If you do speak, can you please come to the front, and then everyone online can see too and can hear you. We have 3 people that signed up ahead of time, and so we're gonna do them first, and then you guys can take turns coming up. People online, if you would like to say something, put your name in the chat, and then when we go through the people in person, Kyle will let us know who's in the chat. So first,
Can
we're
you
gonna
alternate?
it goes in person first.
Okay, sorry.
But good question. Hillary Stock, I'm gonna call you up first. If you could come up here, please. And then when you guys get up here, just tell us who you are again, please.
I'm Hillary Stock. And I have this form. I don't know if you want this or wait till afterwards.
Sure. That way I don't forget it later.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, I'm gonna just read it so I stay on focus. Okay, I'm here tonight to voice my concerns about the book, The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian. by Sherman Alexis, assigned to my daughter in her freshman English class. As a parent of 5 kids, 3 elementary, 1 middle schooler, and 1 high schooler, I'm speaking for both present and future students. I'm asking for age-appropriate reading material that advances independent thought and critical thinking. I am not naive to the fact that students are dealing with self-awareness, sexual curiosity, and hard life experiences. However, we shouldn't need our educators assigning reading material that glorifies pornography, self-pleasure, drinking, drug use, partying, and multiple sexual encounters. These things were in both the books assigned to my student. Why aren't we giving our students reading material of adults who are admirable, that lived tested lives of honor? I expect more of teachers, educators, principals, and superintendents in a place of leadership and authority to make a positive impact and to generate change for the positive. I am an avid reader. I read inspiring books that challenge my thinking, promote humanity and goodwill. I would never encourage my kids or degrade ourselves with a book that was written by a man who has multiple sexual accusations, when there are millions of books that provoke our thinking, move us to tears with deep thoughts, and inspire change and growth. As a student in middle and in high school who dealt with self-identity, sexual abuse, whose abuser spent 16 years in prison, abandonment, multiple life changes and challenges, I can tell you from experience that the books that helped me were the ones that people who had gone through relatable challenges and came out a better person. I desired to emulate those who went through pain and became stronger. I have been a coach in this community now for 7 years, a sub for the district, a foster parent, an adoptive parent, a volunteer, an artist in the community, an advocate for youth sports and school spirit. I have done all of these because I truly believe in the importance of a positive role model. I have my 3 elementary students are being homeschooled, and my 2 high schoolers as of next year will be homeschooled as well, as my faith in the school system has left me disappointed. Yet I stand here for all the families who don't have the ability to homeschool or send their kids to private school. As a district, we can do better. And we can encourage our educators and teach positive material that holds our students to higher standards and growth. And this book was brought to me by my high schooler because she was uncomfortable and thought that I should look at the material itself. And both of my kids have asked to be homeschooled. So that's not something that I'm doing without them wanting to be. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Like a different time to speak, like if I wanted to speak, or could I, 3 minutes now, I just didn't want to mess over you guys.
I think we need to go in the order
Yeah.
of people
Okay,
who
that's good.
registered, but there'll be an opportunity.
Amanda Rush.
Hello, I'm Amanda Rush. I was gonna read a passage from a book, The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian, but it is not appropriate. We've got little ears here, so I'm just gonna read what I wrote. It was brought to my attention, although my daughter is not yet in the grade where this book is assigned, I feel it's important to discuss the appropriateness for school settings. Some of the material in this book raises concerns about whether it is suitable for a classroom. I understand that an alternative has since been assigned to the student, but I question why this replacement wasn't selected from the beginning. Why choose a book that has been controversial and banned in many states? Parents should be informed in advance if a book is potentially sensitive material are being assigned. I hope this issue can be resolved before my child reaches this grade, as I want to maintain my trust in the public school system.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, y'all. I'm Sarah Brown. I want to publicly thank the parents and the students, especially that brought this forward to the attention of the community and to the members of, or to parents of children that will be coming through the school. Like Amanda said, got 4 little kids that are going to come through the school district. And it's so nice to know that there's light being shined ahead of me so that I can also pay attention to what my kids are learning in Seaside School District. So huge kudos to that student and to the parents, because it takes a ton of courage and confidence to question authority, like a teacher or the school district, to say, hey, this doesn't feel right. And that's not for nothing, because in the initial response from the district, this book has been part of our curriculum for a number of years. And that was confirmed through my brother, who graduated 10 years ago and said that he read this book in the 7th grade. And so I think that you know, as parents and as a student of Seaside High School, when I was a freshman, we read Of Mice and Men and Lord of the Flies. And I don't know where we diverged from classical American literature to what we're discussing today. And I don't know how many of you know kind of what the pages of the book that were controversial, but it was sexually graphic, is inappropriate for minors. And so my ask of the board and for administrators is to kind of consider what we're presenting to our kids. Is it absolutely necessary to kind of satisfy a freshman course to include that type of material, or are there other options? And I will be more intentional and kind of paying attention to what my kids are learning and reading in the school district in this way forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Those are all the people that signed up ahead of time, so if you guys can just take turns, if you see an opening, someone can hop up.
Mine's on the same subject of the book.
Can you give us your name, please?
Oh, yeah, Brendan Stock.
Thank you.
And my hope is that sometimes I feel like in our society today, exposure is what we're concerned about. And I feel like it's very harmful to leave kids, especially children, at that place of just exposure. And as a parent, my job as a father is to be a protector of my family. And so when I consider pointing out sensitive material for my kids, the hope is that I can come alongside them and guide them through it. And I don't feel like the applicable environment in school to be reading a book like this out loud with sensitive material is a right one. And I don't also feel that the environment is for school. Myself as a parent who is a constant, who is knows my student, or sorry, my child in a deep way, can be that. And I can team with my wife to be that for my kid and to be able to have sensitive material brought to them in a way that it doesn't allow them a healthy environment to divulge it or unpack it is a big concern of mine when considering this book and all the ramifications around that. Just wanted to bring that up in consideration.
Thank you.
Brenda.
I'm Vivian Batches, and I have a question. I know you're not supposed to respond, but maybe there's written material. How are books chosen? And like this, is there a process that books go through? Is it just the administration or the teachers that are picking these books out? Do parents have any input? And is there a book list that's handed out at the beginning of the year, allowing parents to see what books the kiddos are going to be reading? And if not, I would just like to suggest that maybe some tighter guidelines are put forth of what kind of books are given to the students, and that the parents are well aware before school time or before those books are handed out of what books they're going to be reading. Thank you.
Thank you. Vivian, I can share that information with you. And so if you can just put your email where you signed in, that would be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm gonna follow up with my wife, Dr. Pete Batches, live in Gerhardt. I helped build this school through my tax dollars. And I just want to say, as I was contemplating standing with these parents, Vivian and I have raised 3 children. We have 10 grandchildren. We know the huge responsibility of investing in them with healthy, moral, ethical boundaries. One illustration I thought of just coming over here, coming down 101, I'm glad there's a double yellow line to divide the traffic so that I can safely navigate coming here. The same with Awana Drive, double yellow line. Then there's a stop sign. I'm glad there's a stop sign there to protect me as a citizen from someone running. I've been in countries where they have no stop signs, no yellow lines. It's a dangerous thing. I see the same principle applying with our
the youth growing up, if there's no boundaries, if there's no guidelines, healthy, age appropriate, there's chaos, there's confusion. These emotional classes that we've talked about here tonight, the kids are going, I don't get it because I'm reading one thing, but I'm hearing another thing from my counselor and my coach. And so for the sake of sanity in our children growing up, they get bombarded with so much. I know what my grandkids go through. It's way out of my range, the TikTok and everything else. And I'm saying to my children, set healthy boundaries to guide them so that they don't go off the edge and get misled. So I just want to thank you for your conscientious, responsible abilities to be a part of that process for the children growing up in the next generation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else?
Is there anybody else in person? Okay, great.
Hi, my name is Faith the Hearing, and I was here, I went out and I read the book as soon as I found out what the discussion was. And I honestly, I hope that the board does not remove this book from the curriculum. I read the whole thing front to back. There are some uncomfortable things in the book. It discusses poverty, it discusses grief over and over again. And I do not think that the language of the content was above the grade level for 14, 15-year-olds at all. I thought if anything, it was tame. But I think that they were doing that so they can cover the heavier themes in the way that they did. I thought it was an excellent read. I am looking forward to my kid, who is not the grade level yet. I wouldn't want him reading this book yet. But when he is, 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, I think it is absolutely an appropriate book. And I feel like if you remove it from the curriculum, you're only making it that much more important for kids to read the book. The most important books for kids to read are going to be the banned books, excuse me. And my kid was very on the fence about coming here because he was excited to find out that I was coming to speak on his behalf. And he's an avid reader. He's read Tom Sawyer. He's getting ready to read Huckleberry Finn on his own. Because again, the books that make us uncomfortable are often books that are the most important ones for us to read. We can't just shelter our kids in the bubble of what we want them to believe. This is general education. They need to be, I think it's important that they study these things together with their peers and with other kids in their age group. Thank you.
Thank you.
James McVeigh. My grandson goes to school here. One of my teen grandchildren anyways. I assume when I send my kids to school, that they're being taught by professionals. And that when they're assigned a book, that those professionals have gone over those books. And so I'm gonna trust those professionals because that's not my job. My job is not to be that professional. I have other jobs. That's why I thank the school for doing their job in reviewing the books, in understanding what they're teaching. If I'm really worried about the content of books, this is so minor, this book, in the grand scheme of every other book out there. That another book that was mentioned as an alternative tonight was, I believe, Of Mice and Men. Well, it's a book that's been banned repeatedly, but when it covers topics like poverty, murder, is that a better alternative than a couple of sentences? Is Lord of the Flies, I think was the other one, Anarchy, more murder, but more graphic content. Is that a better alternative? I can't say that it is. And so I have to wonder if the context of the book itself, having been reviewed by the professionals that we as a community paid to do this job, might actually be better. And so, again, I thank the school because y'all are doing great. I know you are for my grandkid.
Thank you. Thank you.
What's up front means over here at the side.
Wherever up front, just so the camera.
My name's Tom Schwenzer. I live here in Seaside, no children. Okay, but, and it's been a long time since I gave a book report, maybe 60 years. But what I heard this evening so far, and Seamus touched on it there, was a plea to have American classics such as Lord of the Flies. Really? That's an American classic? I don't think so. It sure was a sign to me when I was a kid, and I probably went and got the Cliff Notes and carried on pretty good and acted like I'd read it. I don't actually remember it. But I know a lot of this wells up out of people who profess their Christianity, and yet they will take an approach that harms people. For instance, the Bible. There you go. There's a whole lot of begatting and seed spilling going on there, sword fights, beheading, all that kind of thing. And these people want to decide what it is all the kids should read, not just their own. They want to come here. And I don't mean just here. They just want to come to the public and make it difficult. I've seen that said many times, went through all this kind of thing last summer with Mr. Dillard. He was a counselor. I don't think that this community is doing children any good to show them how you get fearful of words. Print it on a page and get so fearful that you want to make sure your kid never even gets exposed to that kind of thing. I'll tell you what, they get exposed. You all know that. I do remember being a 13-year-old boy and probably would have thought it was pretty funny having people thinking that that was a bad book. And so what I would say is consider very carefully what it is you're asking for. Are you asking for somebody getting a burr in their saddle and they get to decide now what it is your kids learn? Sounds like some people are deciding that's good. I saw all this Facebook stuff about it. It was really pretty sickening if you went down through the thread and saw the kind of vicious things people were saying about others, judging others based on their own religious beliefs. There's nothing in that Bible that tells you to do that. Boy, I can tell you, I went to a Lauder church myself, decided finally I didn't want to be a minister when I was a kid, but I've read a lot of that book. I just think you're making a mistake to decide that outsiders can come in and decide what it is your kids are going to learn when you have fabulous teachers at this school, people who care about the kids. It's just the wrong move to make.
Hi, I'm Jules Lyons. I'm not alumni. I moved to Seaside when I was 20. But I made my opinions very clear when we had a bigoted former city council member try to initiate a book ban in Seaside. And I'm here to implore you to not ban this book. It's about censorship. You know, if these people actually cared about like children's safety, they'd be advocating about the gun violence happening in our schools in America. That's what it feels like. It just, like Seamus was saying, this feels like a very small thing. Regardless, Oregon's Department of Education, I feel like is far more qualified than anybody else in this room to decide what is and isn't appropriate. And also, the person who spoke before Seamus talks about how this book is uncomfortable, makes you question a lot of things. And that's how we as a society moves forward. You're not going to move forward unless you make people uncomfortable. That's just how it is. Regardless, the choice should always be between the parent and the child, in my opinion. And certainly not from puritanical texts. From my understanding, parents already have the ability to pull their child out of anything if they deem it's inappropriate, and an alternative assignment will be provided. So no one else has the right to decide what's appropriate to teach. It's a very slippery slope. And certainly not some random right-wing Christian influencer who posted on Facebook trying to get a bunch of people to come here, because that's kind of crazy. That's all I have to say. Thanks.
Thank you.
My name is Jessica Greenlee, and I just wanted to start off. I'm so glad that tonight is the night that I came because I learned so much about all of the excellent work that our educators are doing in the system and through the presentations that were put on. So thank you for that, because that was phenomenal to get to witness and see. On to the topic du jour of the evening. For people who may be online, I know there's a lot of people on Zoom tonight, and as a couple people before me referenced, we have had a general referendum on book banning or censorship of books or restriction of access of books within our community, starting in the fall of 2023, that ran all the way through the summer, which ended up with a changeover in our city council, because we as a community decided that that was not what we wanted. We wanted to trust the professionals who had been educated in their field to make the correct decisions of what placement of materials were out there. And I realize this is sensitive whenever you move into a situation where you're having conversations with regarding children and people's children. And of course, that is the most sensitive line in place. But the school system has safeguards that have been put in place specifically for that. They can foster conversations between parents and teachers to offer alternatives that are available to them to make those decisions should they decide that their child is not yet emotionally prepared to consume that material. The alternative to that, though, is always, of course, to sit down and have those conversations. These types of materials that make you question, give you the opportunity to open that door, to have those difficult discussions. And as I'm sure all of you up here are aware, if you are in any capacity in education, that in of itself is the most educational moments and bonds you can form with anybody who is growing up. And so that becomes pivotal moments in their lives. I had the opportunity to speak to thousands of residents, literally thousands of people who live in Seaside over the course of the recall election that took place. I talked to people in Ward 1, I talked to people in Ward 2, and Ward 3, and Ward, all over the city, and got to hear their opinions and input and thought. And one of the things that I love most about this community is the amount of inclusivity, the thought and care that they have about other people in their community. And one of the reasons why I chose to speak is that I know a portion of the attention on this evening has come from outside influences choosing to utilize and exploit our city for their own personal gain. And that is what I think it is important to put it in perspective, that yes, the concerns of individual parents and the situations with your children are certainly important for you to have those conversations with your children's educators and make appropriate accommodations for what's right for you and your family. But that does not mean that you get to decide, or somebody from outside gets to decide what happens for the rest of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Right here.
Well, here's my, challenge request for the material.
Thank you.
Brett Bishop. My daughter is Bailey Bishop. She is one of the students that brought this to me. I was actually at work. My wife texted me, and she just sent me a picture of one page of the book that they were assigned to read. I don't know where all this is coming from, outside influence stuff. I'm a parent. We chose to raise our kids in this school district, and they participate in sports, and I was pretty disappointed when I saw that this was some of the material that was chosen for this portion of the language arts class. So we spoke, and we had a good conversation. When you leave something up to professionals to decide for your kids and your family, sometimes they make mistakes, and I think this is a huge mistake. It's been, what did we say it was, Ms. Penrod, 13 years that this has been a part of the curriculum?
Yes, I don't remember. I'd have to look, but that's about right. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's an oversight, right? And then if you look at the Oregon State Board of Education, they recommend that this book is okay for a 7th grader. Me as a parent, lucky enough that my daughter came to me and felt comfortable enough to say, hey, I don't feel comfortable reading this. I was never made aware of, like a note sent home, hey, we're gonna be covering some material about, a guy that self-pleasures himself. Do you want your kid to read this or do you not? I didn't even have the choice. It was, my daughter being, open enough with my wife and I to say, hey, look, this is not cool. And so, luckily I have that relationship with our daughter, that she's open enough to come in and have that conversation. I'm worried about the kid that doesn't have that relationship, doesn't have that foundation, and that parent at home where they can bounce those ideas off of and, talk to that parent about that. Oh, sorry. So I just, yeah, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anyone else in person like to speak?
Yes, I'd like to say a couple of words. My name's Brenda Watson. I live in this county. And I am so happy that parents brought their concerns to the board. I think it's important and it's nice to say, well, the state of Oregon knows this. Really? I think we are the people that should be the state of Oregon that they're looking at and bringing their concerns. So to me, it's not just the parent bringing the concern, but the children were bringing the concern. And the fact that this book apparently has slipped through for 13 years without a note being sent home to say, this is the book we're going to be presenting. You have the option to opt out of it. That's a concern. So I think and I have not read the whole book, but the area of concern that was presented to me, I found shocking to be presented to all of our children without parent review ahead of time. Or grandparent review like some of us are. So anyway, I just want to support the parents and thank them for coming forward. And that's what I have to say about it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Christine Minky. I'm a naturopath here and a retired home birth midwife. And I spend a lot of time working with families who don't have a relationship with their children. Their children are being sexually molested, and there's a lot of trauma that I'm working with often. And a lot of the problems that are happening is because they don't have opportunities to be exposed and have an opportunity to explore discussions about these things, especially if their parents aren't available. So having these kinds of books with just a little bit of topic in it like that gives them an opening or an opportunity to explore something that they wouldn't have anywhere else to go. I think it's a great idea to give parents a choice so that they can say, hey, this is something I don't want my child exposed to because I have a communication pathway with them. But for children that don't have that, I think it's important to have some other alternatives and some other ways to bring up the topics. I also feel like we operate too much on shame. I spend so much time helping people to help themselves, to find themselves and to get out from under feelings of shame, of being wrong about things that have happened to them, or maybe they made a mistake and decisions that they made. So I think however we go about it, if we can go about it with less shame and more compassion and really a thoughtful way, rather than a binary and saying this is wrong and this is right and this is black and this is white. It's like maybe there's a way to find pathways so that different perspectives can be met and different needs be met without being hardcore and locking things up. It doesn't work to lock things up. Things get out. So just saying. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we've hit our 30 minutes. Is there anyone else in person that would like to speak?
My name's Trista Como. I'm a mother of 4 children who currently attend school in district. My children have had several issues while we've attended public school, but it's their choice to be here. They love their friends, they love their community. And I'm a mother who's available to my children as much as I possibly can be. Not that everyone here has that opportunity or that desire. There are women who work outside the home and I support that. What I do not understand is when there's a disagreement in our communities, it's one side slinging the other with mud. It happened tonight. I really dislike that. I would echo the call for more communication with the parents, so that those of us who are concerned know how to have our concerns handled appropriately and help our children. I don't desire to shelter my children, but I do desire to make sure that everything is appropriate for them, the age that they're at, where they're at personally, and no one but their mother knows that best, especially in my home. I don't trust the school district to know what's best for my children. I never asked them to, but I am asking them to educate my children. But that is a very basic thing. They need to know how to read and write. They need to know how to do math. That's a simple job. I don't want someone else instructing my children on sex. I just don't. I think that parents should have that choice. We do have that choice. You're right, we can take our kids home. That's not our choice. My kids want to be here. And they should be accepted and they should feel safe to be here. They should feel safe. Your children should all feel safe. Everyone's child should come in these doors and feel safe, regardless of their beliefs and if they want to participate in this book or not. So I would call for civility on the issue, please. And just more communication so that as a parent, I know what to do. I've had a little struggle with certain teachers using the app so that I can easily access information, and other teachers aren't putting their syllabuses in there. So that would be really helpful if everyone had that done so that we could stay on top of it. And I would happily do that. And I think it would solve a lot of problems. Thank you.
Thank you. We have one online. Okay. Who do we have?
John, do you want to go ahead?
Hello, my name's John Edwards. Many of you know me. Can you hear me all right?
Yep. Yeah. Hi, John.
So I respect a lot of the people that have spoken on both sides of this issue. Most of the members of the school board that I know, all the ones that I know I respect. I don't know all of you personally, but I do know most of you. I've been involved in Seaside School District as a student, parent, volunteer for probably almost 40 years, mostly involved then. I understand some of the points on both sides. I think it's great that some of the parents whose students were concerned have a level of trust with their parents that they're willing to bring something sensitive like this to them. I also think it's a slippery slope to start taking literature out of children's hands because there are parts of it that may be deemed inappropriate for some. I think some of those things are probably needed by others that maybe don't have relationships like that with their parents. I think the 10 most banned books were probably all assigned to me as curriculum at Seaside School District, for better or worse. As I think it was Seamus mentioned earlier, Lord of the Flies paints human nature in a pretty negative light. I'm more concerned about that than about the fact that there are individuals that self-pleasure themselves in the world. Of Mice and Men is a horribly bigoted and racist and classist book. And it provides context. The way that you get around the challenging parts of that is by reading the whole book, not by reading an excerpt and pretending like it's the end of the world. However, I just would like to trust that Seaside School District has our children's best interests at heart. I would also like the communication, concerns about syllabuses not being available. I think that's a problem. And so I do think there needs to be open communication with the parents. I don't think there needs to be a note that goes home with every book in a language arts class, because that's pretty much all of them of substance. I mean, the 10 most include things like The Great Gatsby, Of Mice and Men, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Are all of those the most appropriate for a freshman language arts class? Probably not. Do they find a place in high school? Yeah, the critical thinking is another thing that I would like to see students have the opportunity to engage in. And somebody said they don't want those conversations to happen without them around because there's nobody to help guide it. Well, I think in a class with their peers and an adult, they're more likely to have a healthy conversation about some of these controversial subjects than they are after school looking at the cell phone. I think that's a far bigger challenge to our students' mental health than the books that they're reading as a group in language arts class. Thank you very much for your time, though. I appreciate it.
Thank you,
Thank you,
John.
John. We also have one letter that was sent in, and I will read that. And this is from Andrew Adams from Seaside. Hello, thank you for taking a moment to read my letter. I'm not sure if this issue has come to the school board's attention yet, but the Seaside School Board was singled out last night as a target in an ongoing campaign of cult tomfoolery. Below, you'll see a screenshot, which is attached, of a social media post from Vancouver, Washington's Heidi St. John. Please note the profound disparity between the number of likes on this post, over 18,000, and the total population of Seaside, 7,000, myself included. I want to make sure that the school board meeting will not be distracted by fans of Ms. St. John who have no stake in our community or its children. You folks may be way ahead of me on this, but I wanted to throw up that red flag. My hope is that none of this will happen, but I also hope the school board will have measures in place to discern between comments from people who don't live in or near the school district and from the people that do. I especially hope you folks will prevent non-community members from abusing the time and energy available for this was sent tomorrow's public comment session. I don't have any kids to raise, and I don't have much experience on training, working with kids. Therefore, I am only going to address the school board with this one letter out of respect for every parent, teacher, and school administrator in my city. These are the folks that have to face all of our city's true problems and our true victories. These are the folks involved with all the beauty and all the pain of raising our city's youth. I trust that this community is perfectly capable of deciding for itself what is proper to read to high school students, and hope that non-community members will remain focused on their own local governments and their own children. I want to sincerely thank you for serving my community and encourage you all to keep going on whatever real matters are at stake for the board today. These matters surely need more of your attention than the childish political games being played by social media merchants like Ms. St. John. Happy New Year, good luck to you, and thank you for reading. Andrew Adams.
Okay, we are going to conclude public comment now. Thank you guys all for people that spoke and also people that just came. Going to move forward to the consent agenda.
I just want to say thank you all for coming. Appreciate y'all coming. And I really appreciate the time. Honestly, just everybody showing up and giving an opinion. I know everybody else here does as well. We feel like we work hard to, be your elected official at the school board, and that we want to be transparent as possible. So we're doing our best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, consent agenda, here we go.
Consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second. A motion has been made and seconded to approve the consent agenda as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
There was a gifting consent agenda?
It's under action.
Action item.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which we're gonna move on to action items. Yes.
All right, yes. So I know board members, audience, I know we have had a long meeting, but we will continue. Kyle, if you can bring up, and I'm gonna come stand over here so I can see our presentation. Each year, we are required to be presented and vote on our local service plan through our Northwest Regional Education Service District out of Hillsborough. We are one of 20 school districts in 4 counties who are part of as what we call the ESD. Okay, so funds, the way that funds are distributed through our state, besides to individual school districts, are through our Education Service District. Our Education Service District, while supports school districts of all sizes, provides a lot of needed services to small districts who do not have those services built into their district. Okay, so we're going to advance here. As you see here, these 4 counties with the school districts listed there are supported by our Northwest Regional ESD, which, by the way, is the largest ESD in the state. Next. So here's our leadership. As I serve as your superintendent, each ESD has its own superintendent as well. Dan Goldman there. And then they also have board members. Okay, so moving on. As Principal Jeff Roberts shared, the ESD tries to highlight our districts on different things that are going really well. I know this has been an evening of videos, but this is an amazing video that I want to be able to show you as part of our ESD dollars at work to support our students. So what you see here is, like it says, in spring 2024, students at Seaside High School facilitated story circles to better understand the experience and needs of our students. And this video, I will let the students and our staff do the talking. So Kyle, if you can click on that video for our board and our audience to see.
Gotcha. I just want to make sure you
Everyone here is like a family in this room. Like, just even if you're scared, just go for it. You'll be fine. Everyone's not gonna say anything rude to you. You're gonna be perfectly fine, and you're gonna feel calm after you said your story. It's good to know that people will have shared experiences and just make you feel more at peace with yourself and how you feel and reflect, and for any future purposes. So our partnership and our work with student interns this year and last year has really revolved around our use of story circles, and that really came from our student interns. This was their change idea that they came up with. The adults helped with some guidance as far as identifying the need, and that was the work that we did as a 9th grade success team. And the need that we kind of zeroed in on was not really serving our Latinx student population as well as we would like to. And the data was really shown through grades and attendance. So we presented that need to our student interns and then just asked them to get creative and think about how they could come up with a change idea that would address that. So I think actually it was at a 9th grade success convening that they learned about story circles, and the idea came up and we were like, heck yes, let's go for it. So told them we'll be here every step of the way for however we can support, but it was really them spearheading the prompts and coming up with ideas of how they were going to get the information that we really needed that would help guide the adult practices in our building for better serving the population. We invited them here into the Career Center and fed them, because obviously free food and getting out of class is a great incentives. And then the student interns introduced the prompts. The first few story circles were like low stakes prompts. It was like, tell us about your favorite summer memory, and like, what was the first job you've ever had if you've worked, things like that. Were like not related to school, just to kind of take off that pressure of them potentially feeling like this is like a homework thing or something that was going to impact their, you know, education or experience at school, and just help them get like more comfortable with the experience, and honestly us get more comfortable with the experience. And the more we did it, we just like learned something new every time, and it's really developed into something where we can ask more higher stakes questions that do have to do more with school and their experience as students here in Seaside, and get some really like actionable ideas about how we can better serve them out of it.
So when we wanted to start doing story circles, because we thought that there was a lot of struggle amongst a lot of the ninth graders, and we wanted to kind of address that problem, and we found out about story circles through an Oregon State packet, and thought it was a great idea.
Yeah, it was kind of came to our attention that a lot of students have like internal like struggles, and we just thought that maybe it would help benefit the students if like they were given the opportunity to share those thoughts with other students, just to kind of realize that they're not alone in this situation, just to kind of improve like the connectiveness between the students at our school.
One of the things that we noticed when we first started was there was definitely some hesitation among students that were participating in the story circles for a variety of reasons, like the obvious, just feeling a little awkward to something new. But our students that, you know, English was not their first language, we were starting to maybe wonder, and honestly, one of our student interns who speaks Spanish was really great at recognizing this and voicing it to us as well of, hey, have we thought about maybe bringing in an interpreter and giving these students the option to answer prompts and talk amongst themselves in their home language? So we have the privilege of having Claudia, who is our trio and talent search upward bound advisor, and she is housed here in the Career Center and was on board for helping with this project. And so she was able to provide that interpreting services.
I think that it's important to listen to their message and what they have to say, because we want to make them feel safe, make them feel like they are included, and most importantly, we want to make sure that their message is heard. Sometimes, and I think that a lot of students also have come forward with me to talk to me or to talk to other people regarding like questions that they may have, things that are going on in their life. Like I am like, an example would be like students that said that they work but they also take care of their siblings. I think it's important for them to share these to staff and administrators and teachers, because I think we can empathize that they're not just students. Some of these students are also working. Some of these students are also caretakers for others. And those are things that are also important.
Something I took away from story circles would probably be all the lessons that we got from other people and their feedback and advice.
Yeah, like Destiny said, the lessons and everything, and hearing that a lot of people like you have in common of stuff that you didn't even know about. But now like sharing their story, you're like, oh, like me and this person have a lot in common when I didn't even know.
I'd say story circles have helped a lot with understanding and development in emotions, and how it just helps overall knowing like you're heard and that other people are willing to listen to you, as well as you being able to reflect on what everything has given you.
The purpose of these story circles is so that we can hear it from the students. And we're always having all these meetings with the adults and teachers and staff in the building, and those are great, but ultimately the students know what they need best.
Our Our greatest accomplishment during the time that we were doing story circles was probably hearing the impact that we had on BIPOC students and just the students who attended these story circles in general. There was a 10% increase in their attendance after the period of the story circles. That was a 6-week period.
Yeah, I think definitely actually seeing the results of our change idea and our project like come to life in a way felt really good, and it feels really nice to know that like it is possible to make a difference within your school, and that with all these different change ideas between everyone, that it really does impact the students a lot, and I think that's just really great.
So as for our next steps, we are looking and continuing our story circles as we've seen an improvement with our BIPOC students, and also continuing a new project which is going to help further the acknowledgement of freshmen about the graduation requirements and how crucial their GPA is their freshman year to help set them out for their senior year. And
yeah, just a little expand on that. Yeah, we have been this past couple months been going to freshman colloquiums and giving presentations about the graduation requirements and the need for being successful your freshman year. And after we did those presentations, we provided everyone with a Google form that we requested that they fill out, and it just had some questions regarding what kind of support they feel they could benefit from. And so based on those results, our next plan is to make some separate groups that are similar to story circles but more so focused on academics to help those students who are like in need of academic help, study help, organization tips. And yeah, we're just going to meet with those groups and then just help them out the best we can.
Something that I think was surprising and like really cool and exciting that came from story circles that I don't think would have come if we hadn't have tried this was giving specifically these students, these Latinx students, the like space and platform to be able to share their experiences and ideas and see here's all these adults that are like genuinely interested in hearing from me and hearing about my life and things that my family does on the weekends, and then gave them the confidence to suggest ideas for like events and activities that we could do here at school. So an example of that last year, and this honestly wouldn't have happened without story circles, was we had our first multicultural community night, and we were able to use connections from the students that participated in the story circles to invite like a traditional folklorico dance group and a mariachi band, a local Mexican restaurant that catered. And it was awesome to see these kids so proud that they played a part in planning and executing this, and we're going to bring it back and do it again this year and just keep building upon it. And then another one was one of our student interns also she's on ASB and is going to be spearheading like a more multicultural focused winter week that's going to be really focusing on our Latinx population. And I think that she's gotten a lot of inspiration from these story circles. And again, recognizing that the adults in the building, you know, are inquisitive and like very curious about her culture and want to learn more and see more. And yeah, it's exciting.
We can go back to the presentation now, Kyle. This is a prime example of how we collaborate with the ESD. The ESD, as Wendy shared in her presentation, leads a 9th grade success group where all districts throughout the ESD can get together. So hearing from the students, I think, shows the big impact that makes. I'll go through the rest of our presentation quickly. As each year you see a number of these statistics. So Kyle, if you can start us out on slide, there we go. Okay, so here's just some information on Seaside by the numbers, and oops. Sorry.
Was that their Pacifica project, or those are just a different program?
It was a project from, that Jane Foreman and Claudia Mendez started. Jeff, do you
They're
know?
the ninth grade success,
Okay.
student interns, so we have ones that run all year long that help to support students. They attend ninth grade success meetings and convenings, those, small and large, the larger network, so they're working directly.
Thank you. In blue there, you see the support services and collaboration that we have, that is offered by the ESD. Next slide. Okay. Each year, the ESD, in collaboration with their board and the 20 school districts, work together to develop a local service plan. In other words, how the dollars, that come to the ESD are spent to support the districts. Next. Okay, the role of the school board each year, is, to be presented with this local service plan. It is adopted first by the ESD board, and then by March 1st, this resolution needs to be brought to each individual school district board for approval. Next. Okay, this is just a familiar slide to you as well, the breakdown of how the ESD spends their funds, with 90% of it going directly towards students. Next. Okay. Core services, that's a term that we use to be able to look at the services that are provided there, and those are listed there. Next. Okay, so the local service plan development, like we do with our budgeting or any type of long-term plans we do, is a year-long process. Next. Okay, so each county receives allocations for that. The really big things that we use the ESD for is to support our technology and our instructional services. Okay, next. Next, there we go. Okay, these are just a few more services that all districts are involved in, and we take advantage of a few of those as well. Next. Okay, instruction, of course, is our big focus, and we've gotten a lot of good feedback from teachers, students, and families on our new involvement with junior achievement, both BizTown for our 5th graders and Finance Park for our secondary students. And so these are just once again some of the other things, and this also supports our outdoor school program for our 5th graders. Here's just a breakdown of special education services. As I shared earlier, a lot of districts do not have, smaller districts do not have each of these programs in-house, so it is an opportunity for us to use our local service plan dollars to support our students. Next. A breakdown here, of course, of technology for how we're supported through Synergy, especially being housed at the ESD. Next. Okay, new to us in the last couple of years is a grant that helps with early learning, and the ESD supports us through that as well. Okay, the Student Success Act, which we've had since 2019, and integrated guidance, our ESD helps. There's a pretty heavy lift with not only writing those grants, but also the check-ins 4 times a year, and the ESD supports superintendents and leadership teams through that. Okay, just a little more information about the technical assistance that we receive in all these areas. Next. There are a number of grants that are not part of the local service plan, but are provided. A couple examples of that is Canvas, which is our communication system that our teachers use with our students to deliver data, is through the ESD as an example. Next. Okay. Here are some other examples of services. It's really like a menu that each district can use to spend, those local service points, and tailor make it to the needs of their district. All right, so, once again, this is, a presentation. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them, or, you can move on to approving this.
There were some struggles with the ESD at a time with some of the services they were providing, like financial or.
We were using the ESD for our finances when we were struggling to find somebody, but when we were able to find somebody and have the level of those services in-house, then we moved that. And that does offer flexibility to be able to move those dollars around.
And we're happy and satisfied with the services we've been providing.
Yeah, we appreciate them.
A lot of information. Thank you for sharing it all. And appreciate it being available in the packet.
I move that the board adopt resolution number 1 to approve the 2025-2026 local service plan as presented.
I'll second that.
A motion has been made and seconded to approve the local ESD as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
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 I think there was no nays. Motion carries.
All right, moving along. Each year we need to present our budget calendar, and that needs to be approved by the board. So Tony, thank you for preparing this, and once it's.
I'm sorry,
No, go
Right, it
ahead.
was pointed out to me that the document was not originally attached in your agenda. So it's not in your hard copy packet, but it is attached now. I'm hoping that you're seeing
I
it
see it.
without, okay, without. refreshing. Okay, great.
Okay, good, thank you. All right, so
anybody?
You're not seeing it yet. Oh, okay.
I think you have to refresh the page and then follow again.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. So it's under the attachments, under budget calendar adoption.
So our first meeting is April 15th. All right. Our first actual budget committee meeting.
Yes.
Yes.
Would anyone like to?
Have we done all our budget members filled? I mean, okay.
Yeah, we
great.
did that, I
Okay.
think, last
Yeah.
meeting. Or just
Yeah.
a
Couple meetings
maybe.
ago.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So they're all set.
Mhm.
It was last year.
And any like budget conversation or budget discussion preemptively would be what time period? Just out of curiosity, like what time period is that kind of open discussion?
I think for like priorities or that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we start, Tony and I are already starting to develop the budget for next year in collaboration with a variety of groups. We will start probably in February, reaching out to the community to gather their feedback and our staff as well.
Is there, I'd like to volunteer and be more involved with that process. It just to be part of you said group, so I'm not sure who those would be, but I'd like just to kind of see the process and how the sausage is made.
Let's meet
Yeah.
and talk about that.
Okay, sounds good.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the budget calendar for 24-25.
I'll second.
Okay, a motion has been made and seconded to approve the 24-25 budget calendar as presented.
Good luck.
All in favor?
Hi.
Any nays? No, the motion carries. And
Yeah, the last thing, go ahead, Michelle.
we have a gift from the Evans family for $500 towards literacy, reading, book, Nook, libraries, and class books at Pacific Ridge. So thank you to the Evans family. And we appreciate how generous people are with providing the books down there. We have a lot of great donors. Yeah, so thank you.
Yeah, so all gifts need to be approved by the board.
Would we
Make a
like to
motion?
accept this?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think
Make a motion.
Is there a motion? Did someone make a
I was
motion?
about to.
Yeah.
No, they go for
Exactly.
it.
Good.
Do it.
Let's make a motion to accept the gift from the Evans family of $500 towards literacy reading.
And I second. Okay, a motion has been made and seconded to accept the $500 gift from the Evans family towards the Book Nook. All in favor?
This is a regular,
Aye.
sorry, I was gonna ask a question.
Sorry. Oh, do we have any conversation or questions? Chris?
This is the only time I get to ask a question.
Go ahead. Make it a good
Is
one.
this a regular like donation from this family? Or is this just kind of a one time?
No, I'm.
We have some families that are pretty
Yeah,
regular.
yes. Tom Briggs
We
does a
do, we
lot
do
of,
have some who make those donations every year, yes.
Well, thank you, Evans family.
Yes,
Appreciate it.
thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay, any other questions, comments? No, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you, Evans family.
Thank you.
We are now at board reflections and announcements. If anybody has anything they would like to share, I personally would just like to say thank you to everyone that came and spoke and didn't speak also. I know this has been a very long meeting, so glad that you guys got to watch a lot of really cute videos. We don't always get as many cute videos, but it's, you know, it's nice to see the reason that we're all here is for the kids, so, you know, you guys obviously are here for that too.
I have a reflection too, to say thank you all. I do believe that parents are their kids' first teachers and, guardians, to support the children that they care for. So I do appreciate, everybody coming out and speaking on behalf of those they love and support. I also want to say my reflection of gratitude towards moving forward towards, Performing Arts Center. I'm probably gonna bring that up every meeting, but I'm excited to start these conversations.
Yeah, I would say the same. Thanks for coming and supporting your students. And we'd like to see you all the time.
Yeah, I'd like to reflect on a few things. Just number one, the involvement for the community. I think it's so great. We talk about engagement, and so we saw it tonight. I also want to thank Susan for taking a prickly issue and handling it, I think, very well. There's a process for this. This is not the first time, and the way people start framing it and kind of, there's a way to manage this pretty easily. And I think that we make sure parents have a say in their kids' education and also, you know, provide a great education that can balance that. And I think the policy that's already written is well suited for that. So I think this sort of thing hopefully is the start of much more, because parent involvement is so key. And we've struggled with that, to be honest. It's we don't have a lot of the things I've heard in my short time here on the board is that it's a hard time getting parents to engage and be tuned in. We need to make it easier. And I think transparency from the district would be very helpful, maybe a rating system. But when I typed in that story, that page, it was X-rated. It's not R-rated, X-rated. So if there's things in there that can be balanced and say, look, I'm not saying you can't be exposed. I mean, these phones are loaded. So we just got to be careful and make sure that we're all in this together. We're not fighting each other. There's a process that this has not been the first time this has happened, and it will be worked through. And I'm very confident it's going to be done well. So I just want to say thank you for everybody getting involved. It matters. And just one person's view is not the next person's, and right or wrong, that's somebody else's job, but it's not ours. So anyway, for that, I thank you, Susan. Thank you. It's tough.
That's well said, Kevin.
Yeah. And then number two is the improvement. I have been vocal about where we stood on a state basis and how far we are at average, and we're moving that direction. We're almost there and again, I think that's a benchmark we keep working towards. To say I'm 100% of this or that, I think is unrealistic, but can we get to a place where we're above average? And I think the answer is for sure, yes. And we're on our way, and I just appreciate the improvement we're seeing. So thank you for all of that good information tonight. We're making great progress. So thank you. And that's it. I just think that we have a great community here. We have a great school. We have a great school district, and we got a bright future. So thank you.
I'll echo the appreciation of the school board members. You know, couldn't do this without the team of school board members that we have, and it's School Board Appreciation Month. So it's a challenge, but I also just want to echo again, just appreciate the community showing up. I know it's important. We're all learning, you know, I mean, as parents, as educators, as school board members and things like that. We're all in this together, and we do have a great community. And I know we're all very respectful of each other. We do our best. We're not perfect. But I really trust Susan and her team to make good decisions. I feel like we really need to take a lot of accountability in our response to the community and direct action right away. And not everybody's always gonna be happy with the decision, but I feel like it's always good to reevaluate. And I think that anytime that something's brought to our attention like it has been, it gives us the opportunity to look at it. And I really appreciate everybody's different opinions. That's one of my favorite things is just hearing different things, because sometimes I can get right in the tunnel and it helps me when I hear that. So appreciate everybody, appreciate our board, our administration, excited for the year. Great things ahead for CSEC.
While we're on the book topic, do we want to talk about the book?
Yeah.
Last book. The other one.
You should bring that home.
That was a great segue.
Thank you
So much. So after we attended our annual Oregon School Board Association conference, this book was brought up, not a new book, but it's making a little bit of a resurgence. And so the board decided that that they wanted to do that you all wanted to do a book study on this together. Okay, so what that looks like is what I'm opening up for a discussion. I did find that there's a companion text that that is used for people to do book studies with this. Not only does it have some summary, but it talks about being able to look at the main themes in this book and how it can directly affect us. So I wanted to put that out there, that that's available for us if that's a tool we would like to use.
Yeah. Yep.
Comments?
Is it a cheat sheet?
Yeah. Is it a cheat sheet? Is it like a worksheet?
Clip notes.
Yeah, it's kind of like a little handbook to go with.
Okay.
For those of you that are curious, the book is called Good to Great and it's by Jim something.
Collins.
Collins,
Jim
thank you.
Collins. Yeah.
Sounds good, let's do it.
Sure.
Yeah, are we gonna have it like
We'll
in,
start reading now.
Like.
by this time period?
Yeah.
Cause I need a deadline.
I need
because-
deadlines too.
So, I'll have Leslie order these companion workbooks. You all have this book. You can jump into it and start reading it. But, I'll have Leslie order tomorrow this companion book, and then, in my weekly update, I'll kind of send you some suggestions for timelines.
Okay.
Thank you.
Give us some goals.
Perfect.
Great.
And then do we discuss it here, or is that more of a, how does that work?
When's our next book?
Usually I'm thinking of like book club, you know.
So, work sessions would be the best for that.
Work sessions, okay.
Yeah.
When's our next work? When's our next?
Well, that's the next subject of that public meeting training.
Yes, thank you for.
And fitting that in somewhere potentially.
Yes, so speaking of work sessions, okay. There is a new law that all board members need to be trained on public meetings law. There is like a webinar on, is it February 6th?
Yes, February
Okay.
6th at 5 p.m.
So, this is an option for you guys to get the training during that time. It will also be recorded and we could use it in a future work session. I know you have a couple other work sessions, going on in the next month. So that's an alternative as well.
Can we just do it independently?
Was my question too. I mean, can
Is that okay?
We could.
Okay.
Mhm.
What other work sessions do we have?
Well,
On the 3rd,
Mhm.
you have a work session for superintendent evaluation.
Okay. February 3rd.
is it all in the calendar?
Yes.
Yes. Mhm. And then we have, in February, we have our regular, February tends to be a little bit longer meeting because we have our required executive session about staffing for next year.
Will we get a link for the public sessions meeting?
Yes.
We can do that.
Public meetings meeting.
It'll be available after February 6th because that's when that live webinar is. And then
Oh, a link to the recording.
To the webinar, for the invite, or have we already gotten that?
You may have gotten something, it's from OSBA, so I think they often do send those things.
They send us a lot though. I do not open.
We can
Yeah,
resend that to you,
Resend
and
that.
you could join on the sixth if you wanted, or we can send you the recording as well.
Yeah, hopefully at the convention, they heard all of us say you email too much. Every person there said you email us too much.
There's a lot of traffic.
So what I'm
Okay.
hearing is that your preference is just independently do the
Yes.
training?
Yes.
Okay. I do have to be able to, certify and track that you've done it. So I will, find out from OSBA what you will need to provide to me to show that you took the training. If you register for the webinar on February 6th, I think, you'll be registered for it and they'll be able to see that you've attended. If you, watch the recording later, then we'll have to figure out how you document that. So that we can
I'm sure OSB.
do our
has a form or
record
something.
keeping.
Yep.
But I'll get that information.
Awesome, thank you.
All right.
Any other?
I just got a question on this, calendar. Will our performance meetings also be in the calendar? But, because it's not the whole board, it's just,
You mean the committee work?
yes.
Yeah, that comes within a separate Google invite, a
Okay.
calendar invite.
But it's not on this board book calendar, correct?
No.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
So the work sessions, Leslie will send us the calendar invite.
Yes.
Okay.
To register for the OSBA training.
What
I
about
did-
the other sessions?
Those will, the one we have, you already have an invite for the one on the 3rd.
The scheduled public meetings are on the board calendar. Your committee meetings are on Susan's Google Calendar and you're invited to those. So the ones that we schedule, the public meetings that we schedule here are on the school board calendar. You would need to go in and look at that. Those do not have individual board members added to them. The regular meetings of the board are set every summer for the next year. So we have those scheduled out through June. Next year's will be scheduled in August, because this year I don't think there will be a July meeting. And then additional meetings are scheduled here when you're all in agreement on when those would be. And then I would put them on the school board calendar, so you'll see them in board book.
So this is February.
Or
It doesn't
on the
have-
website.
It doesn't have our superintendent evaluation. Am I in the
Right, that's
place?
No, with the implementation of board book, we'll learn a little bit more as we go. But until the meeting is, it would be considered in development right now. Nobody can see it yet. Because it hasn't been
It's
created
secret.
in board book yet.
But it exists.
If you go-
Put it in-
Oh,
It's not in this calendar yet, but it
Got
is.
And I can show you where all that is.
okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
if you go to our school board meetings webpage,
Yeah.
the meetings are calendared there.
Okay.
The public meetings are calendared there.
Got it.
So you can find it on the website, but not in your board book yet.
Got it.
All right,
Okay.
anything else?
Lots of information.
Yeah.
I think
So February
Long
3rd
year.
next.
February 3rd is the
February
next,
3rd, yeah.
and then we'll tell you after that.
February, what's the next board meeting?
February 18th.
18.
Am I correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so unless there's anything else to come before the
We
board.
have a nasty.
Oh,
conflict.
actually, did we change that? We
have
do
a
have a huge
conflict.
conflict,
Yeah.
because I'm sorry, I will not come.
On the 18th?
Senior night, and Chris will probably not be either.
And we're playing the fish.
Senior
fish
night.
event.
Oh, basketball.
Mhm.
Yeah, the big
Against
thing.
Astoria.
I'm out, check out, sorry.
I'm actually gonna be out.
We did talk about this though,
Yeah.
about potentially changing that.
Leslie's looking, she's gonna check, we might have moved it already.
No, you
No,
did
we
not.
didn't.
Okay,
I just said I wasn't.
I mean, I'm gonna be out of town, but I can.
So Brian will be here. Kevin, you be here on the 18th
On the 18th, yes.
of February?
And I can
Kat
zoom
and
in.
Sandra,
We will be.
I mean, you still
I mean,
have a quorum. I mean, I will be. I'm just thinking.
Yeah.
Reach out, we will reach out about that.
okay.
All right.
Greeter.
Who wants to be the greeter next month?
I
I'm
wanted to
not doing
be,
it.
but
Chris and I will not. We're
can't.
taking ourselves
I'm
out. And,
gonna be Zoom. so
and
it's
yeah,
hard to greet
okay, so
from Zoom.
Kevin
Kevin
was
agreed.
at, Sandra did it last time with their sparkly shirt.
I do. They're.
Greeter.
But we're saying
I'll
the
get a new
eighteenth though,
one.
right?
Yeah, 18th.
If it's the eighteenth, then yes. If you're doing a different time, then maybe not.
That's okay.
Doing it, are we definitely having a board meeting on the eighteenth or do we want to reschedule?
As of right now, it's on.
As of right now, you are the greeter on the 18th. You're gonna be amazing. Okay, anything else?
Voluntold.
Okay, meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Good.
Thanks.